Over the last few days, several people have said to me, it must feel good knowing you're about to retire. Well, yeah, it does feel good, but good is not exactly the word I'd use. Better words for me would be satisfying and, most importantly, grateful. It's satisfying knowing that I was able to be part of the best job in the world for, if you include my volunteer time, over 41 years, 21 years for the federal government. It's satisfying knowing that I'm putting a pin in a career that I love and that I always gave it what I could. Some days I gave a little more than others, but I always gave it what I could. And grateful, that's a big one. First of all, grateful to simply be standing here because there are many that don't get that chance. And this leads me to tell you, especially all our younger firefighters here, about the curse of an old fireman. You can be old and lose family or friends simply from the passage of time. You can be a fireman and lose brothers and sisters from PTSI or other line of duty deaths or job-related illness. But when you're an old fireman, your list is extremely large because it contains both. If you're in this job long enough, you'll have your own list. There are many cultures that believe as long as someone's name is spoken, they live on. So I'd like to mention some names from my list with gratitude so that they are not forgotten. Captain Freddie Mack, EMS Lieutenant Liz Perry, Captain Fred Brink, Assistant Chief Wayne Shalhoub, Firefighter Rob Wasinski, EMS Captain Paramedic Craig Arnone, Firefighter Zachary Herman, Fire Inspector Jeff King, Fire Chief Paramedic Gary Dion, Firefighter EMT Dave Maynard, Assistant Chief Ken Jeffrey, and Assistant Chief Jeff Post. Last, but most importantly, my best friend Oli and my dad, Dr. D. Bruce Gray. I became an MRT, Medical Response Technician, now called EMR, when I was 14 years old, 2 years before I could even drive. My father would drive me to the firehouse or the scene of a call, no matter what time of day it was. So much that the fire chief at the time got him to join, and my dad and I took EMT Basic together. Many years later, I was considering starting a business of my own, because all farmers have side jobs. And I was discussing that idea with my father on their porch at lunch. And he said, Andy, that sounds amazing. How much do you need to get started? I laughed and said, whoa, slow down there, bud. I'm just in the idea stage. I don't even have a business plan yet. Let me really research this, put together a business plan, then you can see if you believe in it enough to invest in it. He said, and I'll never forget this, I don't need to see a business plan because I believe in you. I hope everybody here has somebody in their life that makes them feel like that. I heard a coworker and friend, Rob O'Brien, say once, as he was accepting an honor, that no man stands at the podium alone. That's because of the shoulders we've stood on to get there. And I won't be able to name everyone, but there are a few that were truly instrumental in my life and career. First and foremost, to my family. Mom, thank you for always supporting and loving me unconditionally. My sister has been my sounding board because she's not afraid to tell me when I'm stupid. And I'm sure I'm not shocking anyone here when I tell you she's usually right. My brother-in-law for always being there when I get a jam with something mechanical. My nephews Owen and Mason when I need a good conversation and a smile. My best friends Ron and Bill, who created tons of laughter and always helped me out of trouble. Of course, they were usually right there with me when I got into trouble. And those are stories for another day. From my Wellington days, Chief Richard Lytell, Chief Ron Gantic, EMS Captain Vicki Lytell, Firefighter Brian Elton, Thank you for taking care of this kid and instilling a love for community and the fire service in me. From Subbase Groton, Assistant Chief Celeste Shull and Bob Kelly, who gave me more kindness than I deserved as a junior fireman. Assistant Chief Chris Whipple, more on him a little later, and Assistant Chief Jeff Post. Chiefs Whipple and Post taught me more about being a fireman than I had learned up to that point. Firefighter Steve Romanelli, who taught me the finer points of being a chauffeur and not just a driver. Fire Chief Thomas Clapsack. Thank you for believing in me, even when sometimes I didn't believe in myself. I know we're not a whole lot apart in age, but I see a lot of my father in you. Thank you to both you and your amazing wife, Babette. You both were always there for the joyous moments and, more importantly, when tragedy struck in the firehouse. Not just as a supervisor and his wife, but as family. From Naval Station Newport, Battalion Chief Daniel Miller, my first chief when I came here to the island. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here, but if you were a chief, I'd tell you that it's been an honor to work with you, and I'll certainly miss our kitchen chats over an espresso and a piece of berry pie. Battalion Chief Knudsen. I've known Keith since he was a firefighter. We worked together as firefighters. I served under him when he was a captain, and then was very happy to serve under him as battalion chief here at Naval Station Newport. Supervisor first, but always a friend. You know, come to think of it, you really should be thanking me for being the stellar employee that I was. Yeah, whatever. Seriously though, and on a serious note, if I were to go to Foxwoods and they told me I could make only one bet, the surest bet I could make would be that Keith, either as a firefighter or as a supervisor, would have our backs. 100%. Training Officer Danielle. There you go. Training Officer Danielle. No matter what Keith says, you are exceptional. Being a fire officer and making training and certification process really a breeze. When people move on from here, they're going to realize how good they had it with you, even though you're on them all the time in your CV tools. And I'll get those to you, I swear. To the guys on the floor, the officers, and the members on the floor, and even those who move on to other places. Thank you for your friendship, your ball busting, sorry Mom, and your stellar teamwork when it counts. And I have learned something from each and every one of you, and I hope you've learned from me as well. To anyone who's come on the job in the last couple of years, I'm so damn proud of you guys because of your love of the job, your energy, your drive, and your dedication to your skill. Keep up what you're doing, but maintain time for yourselves that's non-fire service related, because PTSI is real, cumulative trauma is real, and I'm here to tell you the world is a better place with you in it. To anyone from another department that I've been lucky enough to call a friend, share a story, or a cup of coffee with, thank you. Here's to a phenomenal run, to trusting and embracing the future, and to starting the next chapter. Before I end, there's one last thing I'd like to do. This is a carabiner, and I know you can't see it. It's another man, by the way, that just walked in. Sorry to call you out. This is the guy that taught me how to cook. Sorry, Captain Patrick O'Brien, retired. So this is a carabiner, and I know you can't see it, but it's engraved with the name Whipple in it. Assistant Chief Whipple recently retired. Like Keith, I served with him as a firefighter. I served under him when he became a captain, and occasionally worked for him because I was assigned to Jeff Post, but I occasionally worked for him as assistant chief. Chief Whipple was one of those people that was proof that it doesn't matter what you wear on your collar or what color of your shirt is, you can still be a wonderful and effective leader. As a matter of fact, when it comes back to this carabiner, he he was an acting captain. He was a firefighter and serving as an acting captain at the time. And we were doing a training evolution where I was on my knees, like checking a door to check that door for heat temp. And he noticed that my mask, my face piece, was dragging on the floor. So after training was over, he came up to me and he said, "Hey, I want you to have this carabiner of mine." He goes, "Put it on your coat and hook your mask to it. It'll keep your mask from dragging in the dirt that you got to put on your face, and it'll help protect you and your equipment." I never forgot that, and I've carried this carabiner on my gear and used it for that exact purpose to this day. I'd like to call up firefighter EMT Evan Luther, please. Firefighter Luther is our newest hire. He just completed his EMT, his ladder and pump qualifications, and he's moving on to his hazardous materials training. And let me tell you something. This kid has fought like hell to pass these tests. And I sat upstairs and I watched him in the books when everyone else was in the day room watching TV, or playing a video game, or doing whatever. He had his nose in a book. He asked to ride third on the ambulance with me. You have done a phenomenal job, and I'm so proud of you, Evan. So I would like to pass this carabiner on to you so that you can use it in your career. Keep your mask up tight. All right, brother? Congratulations. Get out of your way and leave you with my favorite quote from President Teddy Roosevelt in Paris in, I believe it was 1918. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbled or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again, but he knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, and who at best knows that in the end, the triumph of high achievement, and at worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory or defeat. Thank you, everybody. God bless.